When tragedy strikes across the world, across the country, in our backyard, when people are at their lowest moments and they don't know where to turn, they have somebody that they can trust in the Red Cross. Our mission is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. That Red Cross emblem, it's universal for hope and compassion.
So when you look at what helps eliminate human suffering, it's building resilient communities, whether it's helping support disaster services, home fires, or first aid, CPR training, services to the armed forces, and blood drives. When we are able to have the right amount of units of blood on the shelves, I like to think of it as giving access to our services, access to life. It can go to somebody who just had an accident, a mother giving birth, cancer patients. It goes to those who are having surgery.
The American Red Cross supplies 40% of the nation's blood supply. And if we were not able to do what we needed to, we would leave a huge gap in being able to deliver those life-saving blood products.
When the blood is limited, then we're limited to who it can go to. So most importantly, we just need to be consistent about having blood on the shelf.
Here in Central Texas, we know that disasters are becoming more common. They're becoming more intense.
This has been a very long week for the millions suffering in Texas.
A region of 6.8 million people sheltering in place
as the shooting was the deadliest at a grade school.
San Antonio faces fire and ice. President Joe Biden says he's declaring the entire state a disaster zone.
Our need to be able to respond and mobilize and support our community during disaster relief is only becoming that much more critical. But what most people don't realize is how much a significant disaster can impact the blood collection that we do in that region. Currently, our building that we've called home for the last 50 years did not sustain our ability to collect blood in a way that would meet the demands and the needs of our fellow Texans. And so we embarked on a significant investment to now include a blood collection center for the first time. And what we're hoping to be able to do is triple, quadruple our blood donor base. It's going to allow us to be able to collect more blood and very specific blood products that are only going to allow us to meet that life-saving demand more than ever before.
To have the blood collection center is going to be life-changing for us. What excites me the most is to be able to fit into different areas, whether that's downtown, in the neighborhoods, or in the rural areas. It's just really giving access to donating, because only about 3 to 2% of the U.S. population is coming out to donate.
Being somebody who needed that life-saving blood, I had thankfully a successful ending, but that was because the blood I needed was there, and that the supply was not interrupted at a time that my life was hanging in a balance. So in April 2023, my husband and I welcomed our first child, my daughter. During my labor, I was hemorrhaging and my blood loss was significant. They determined that I had retained about a 4-centimeter piece of my placenta on my uterine wall, and that placenta was becoming toxic to my body. They said, it's gonna be an easy procedure. We're gonna go in, we're gonna take it out, and then you'll be good as new. During that procedure, I ended up hemorrhaging again and lost about 40% of my blood supply during the operation. I remember at one point when I was conscious, I started to just feel a little faint. And I started to see things like black and white. And I looked over at my husband and I said, I don't feel very well. And he looked over and he said at that point, like I had gone 4 shades white. And almost instantly, I started to feel myself lose consciousness. These doctors that I had never seen before came into the room and I heard him say, "Where's her blood? She needs this blood to save her life." And in that moment, as they were laying me back, 2 thoughts came to my mind. 10 years I've been with the Red Cross, and I never got it until that moment. And the second thought was thinking that I saw my daughter for the last time. They got the blood into my system, and it was about 10 minutes from the time that I started to feel faint and I started to crash until they had the blood in my system and I was basically coming back to life. It takes about 10 minutes for somebody to go donate blood. And that was not lost on me in those moments. And that was that. I think that just speaks to the impact of this movement through all my peers who do what they do every day, whether they're the ones collecting the blood, whether the ones that are organizing the blood drives, whether the volunteers that are running the blood drives at the front desk, welcoming clients, and then the blood donors themselves. I was able to survive what I went through because somebody like them rolled up their sleeves. And you can count on my husband and I never miss our blood appointment. And I only hope that I can provide just a fraction of that to somebody else.